Days of Our Lives, Rachel's confessions spark Johnny's arrest. Days of Our Lives spoilers Nicole and Eric's romantic status. What does EJ's trouble in paradise hint mean? Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. After watching these videos, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Days of Our Lives sees that little Rachel Black is hiding commodity huge. And in fact, her concession to her mama, Kristen DiMera, is just the tip of the icicle. Will the Academy girl designedly set up her kinsman, Johnny DiMera, to go down for EJ DiMera's firing? Kind of aesthetics that way. Days of Our Lives is little Rachel Black hiding a huge secret about EJ's firing? So, after Rachel revealed tea about Johnny signaling a gun at his pop EJ, we saw Rachel telling her mama that she thinks EJ merited to get shot for taking her namesake grandma, Rachel Blake, down from her. But Kristen is trying to telephone back her psycho son, you know. And indeed, though Rachel didn't feel originally like she was looking to get Johnny into trouble, she may change her mind, or she's being veritably clever and laying root, planting seeds. So Rachel told Kristen she went back upstairs, went to bed after seeing EJ and Johnny argue. And Rachel was veritably clear that she didn't hear a projectile. But this sprat is Kristen Jr. in every way, and I'm laying she's a little fabricator. Salem PD investigates EJ DiMera firing who differently is under dubitation. So Jada Hunter and Belle Black just had a converse about EJ's would be killer still being at large. And Jada was talking to Belle about Ava Vitale being off the grid and out of Salem after jilting Melinda Trask's handgun. But it seems like neither of them really suppose Ava shot EJ. And I misdoubted as well. Of course, numerous suckers have different ideas about who pulled the detector. And of course, it was Gabby Hernandez and Kristen who were the first two seriously questioned by the Salem PD. But there was enough substantiation to arrest either of these queens. Why Days of Our Lives Johnny is a prime suspect in EJ's firing. And Johnny remains hostile towards his pater, EJ, over the sexual assault of his mama, Sammy Brady. Now, Hurricane Sammy herself is in the clear because she was in City. And Johnny's woman, Chanel Dupree, and Grandpa, Roman Brady, actually questionable Johnny is the shooter. So lots of effects passing, all pointing towards him. Both Chanel and Roman believe Johnny brazened EJ with the gun he took from the Brady pub. They know Johnny was upset the night EJ was attacked on Days. Plus, the most important thing is that Johnny is at the top of the firing suspect list in EJ's mind because he only has these partial and haphazard recollections he's recovered since coming out of that medically convinced coma. Could Rachel Black be the key to working the EJ DiMera firing? So, as of now, it seems like the person who knows the most about events that night that EJ was shot is little Rachel. And she may be doing commodity devious to make Johnny out to be the malefactor, which aligns with what EJ fears is true, at least at the moment. Days of Our Lives leaker reveals shocking EJ DiMera shooter identity. So, several months ago, our leaker, who has themselves an inside source at Days of Our Lives, told me that Rachel is responsible for shooting EJ. And I actually got grilled by the Days PR office when I first made a videotape about the leak a while back, which is kind of intriguing. Rachel's strange behavior hints at guilt in EJ firing. And now recent occurrences show Rachel acting strange. And she suddenly left her frenetic Hatter tea party to go to bed. She told Kristen, EJ, and Brady that she was too tired, but we know it had to do with the discussion turning to EJ's firing. Tried murder, you know, isn't exactly applicable small talk for a child's party, but it's the DiMeras that we're talking about, so presumably not the first time. And it was strange because Rachel refused to indeed stick around long enough to finish opening her birthday gifts. Said she didn't want to unwrap them the coming day. What sprat does that? So, Days of Our Lives' recent occasion had Kristen checking in with Rachel, talking to her about Grandpa John Black's accident and what's going on with him. And Rachel told upset Mama Kristen that she's had a breadbasket pang ever since her birthday party. So perhaps Rachel's feeling queasy over the stress and guilt of shooting her Uncle EJ. Days of Our Lives Johnny's lying? Perhaps Kristen now knows that Johnny and EJ were fighting the night of the firing. And according to Rachel, that woke her up. She said when she browsed, Johnny was signaling a handgun at his pater. And EJ remembers Johnny holding a gun that night. But there's more recollections in EJ's adult brain that just haven't come back yet. So this week, Roman told Kate he thinks Johnny's lying about what went down that night. But a lot of Days suckers also know Johnny's heart is in the right place. He's one of the many good DiMeras along with Chad DiMera. And you flash back when EJ fell in City Forecourt because he's unsteady and using a club? Johnny's knee Hall response was to run over and help his pater, and he to pull himself back because he's still frenetic. So, indeed given all that, Rachel and Kristen are presumably going to wind up pointing fritters at Johnny. Kristen and Brady's dilemma hiding Rachel's secret about EJ's firing. At the moment, Kristen wants to keep all this quiet. She told Brady what their son Rachel said, and he wanted to just go tell the Bobbies, tell his family, Belle, because she's DA. But Kristen reminded him CPS is keeping a close eye on them, and EJ's firing is itself a problem. They do not want to complicate it. Kristen and Brady both know any hint of reproach, wrongdoing, or an unsafe terrain. They're going to lose guardianship of Rachel. So Brady agreed with Kristen that for now they'll stay quiet about what Rachel claims she saw. I'm not going to say she did see it, because I suppose there's further to this story. So the Sprats keeping quiet, and indeed when Sarah Horton checked out her painful breadbasket at the sanitarium, Rachel didn't say anything to the croaker. Explosive Days of Our Lives blunder the full proposition on who really shot EJ. So then's what we're presumably looking at soon. Kristen is now feeling certain that Johnny shot EJ, so she's gotten that in her reverse fund. But I also suppose Rachel's telling a partial verity. I do suppose she saw Johnny and EJ arguing, and he did hold a gun on his pater. But if our leaker's right, Johnny laid down the gun and walked out shocked, didn't fire a shot, and little Rachel didn't go back to bed. She picked up the gun, told EJ she knows he did a bad thing to her grandma Rachel, and also shot him. So far, everything our leaker has told me has been unfolding. So it aligns. We'll see. I'm still feeling real good about this leak. Days of Our Lives spoilers, summer trial, false admissions, and a shocking twist. Rachel now has laid the route for Johnny to go down for her crime by telling her mama, Kristen, about the fight. Further on this is going to shift, but the coming week is going to be concentrated on the burial of John and Bo Brady's miraculous recovery and return. And also Days of Our Lives spoilers offer trials about a big summer trial. Looks like there's going to be some red herrings, people vindicated, notoriety condemned. Johnny originally is presumably going to be indicted, but Kristen is going to find out the verity about what Rachel did. And our leaker says Kristen makes a false concession to save her son. Behind, this scene's hint confirms major Days of Our Lives plot twist. And by the way, there's a before, the scene's print of Anna and Tony's return that offers a big hint about that. Now, Anna's back with Tony DiMera for the burial coming week, but they're not going to stick around. They're going to be back for 60th anniversary scenes latterly. So, this scene's print is taken from when Billy Flynn was still taping. And of course, he's gone now because he's over on. Looks like he's debuting mid-June, by the way. So it's Billy Flynn, Stacey Hayduke, Theo Penglis, and Dan Feuerriegel in Salem Town Square on a day they were all filming, and Stacey was in Statesville captivity denim for the scene she was taping as Kristen. So yeah, Kristen going to captivity to keep Rachel out of juvie makes sense. But before that, it could be Johnny arrested as the original firing suspect because Rachel seems to be trying to throw dubitation on kinsman Johnny to cover herself. That Sprat is a true DiMera through and through. Days of Our Lives spoilers Nicole and Eric's romantic status. What does EJ's trouble in paradise hint mean? Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that suckers may now have questions about Nicole Walker and Eric Brady's romantic status. EJ DiMera suggested about trouble in paradise, but what does that really mean for the popular brace? Days of Our Lives suckers will recall that Eric, Nicole, and Jude Brady have been living in Paris. Still, Eric just returned to Salem to visit John Black in the sanitarium and support Marlena Evans. Of course, that gave Eric a chance to run into EJ in the city forecourt, where EJ asked about Jude and Nicole. When Eric refocused out that Nicole and Jude didn't make this trip, EJ had some intriguing commentary. Odd. Do I smell trouble in paradise? EJ asked in Day's May 30th occasion. Eric was easily irked and chose not to respond to the question. Rather, Eric suggested he didn't have time for this and dashed off to the sanitarium soon after. The discussion was interesting and maybe left some Days observers wondering if there was any verity to EJ's enterprise. Could there indeed be some trouble in paradise for Nicole and Eric? It's possible that Eric and Nicole broke up or that they've been having issues. Eric didn't mention anything during his catch-up sessions with his favored Bones latterly, but the timing would have been right for that anyway due to John's fire. That said, Eric happily showed off a videotape of little Jude and actually didn't feel worried about anything in his particular life. This may have just been a case of EJ trying to get under Eric's skin, and Eric not giving him the satisfaction of a real response. Eric is only back for a temporary day stint, so there's no real reason to resolve him up from Nicole right now. It'd be better to keep Eric in a joyful love when he goes out screen again. It seems likely Nicole and Eric are still going strong as a couple despite EJ's suggestion that there were problems between them. Still, we'll be sure to pass along updates if any other news emerges about Eric and Nicole's romantic status. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Eric has further family scenes ahead as John's exit plot heats up, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching these videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.